Yeah, so we're having you on as we come into 2019. You guys just posted a great article on wetaways.com, which you founded with your daughter, about honeymoon and destination wedding trends. So we're really excited to talk to you about this area, about trends in the honeymoon and destination wedding space. So before we get into that, I would love to give our guests a little bit of background information on yourself. You have a very interesting background. So let's hear a little bit about you and what you've done in your career.
Okay, I'll give it a quick roundup. I always loved the bridal industry because it fascinated me that someone would spend so much money on a garment that they would wear once.
Yes.
So I led into the wedding industry in a luxury retail bridal salon in Beverly Hills. And capitalizing on that market, I created magnificent store windows on the busiest boulevard that ran through Beverly Hills. Subsequently, because we are in the heart of Hollywood as well, producers and directors of TV, motion picture, and commercial productions would pass me on their way to or from work every day. And inevitably, when they were working on any kind of wedding production, soap operas or TVs or movies or print, they would come into my store and see what we had in terms of wardrobe, and they would subsequently purchase, or we would work out arrangements for them to get the wardrobe from my company. And very often they hired me to consult on the sets. And during those wonderful opportunities, I got to meet many of the actors, the producers, and the directors. Slowly but surely, they started asking me to not only do the wardrobe for their own personal weddings, but also to plan their entire wedding. Because as a retail bridal salon, I was what we call a first feeder to all kinds of wedding industry professionals. So musicians, bakers, florists, photographers, everyone would come to my store and say, would you give my business card to your clients? Because we were the first touch point of anyone getting married outside of the jewelry store. And so I had a huge database of all kinds of people that were wedding vendors around the world. And therefore, I was very happy to accept actual wedding production, but because my referral base was from local wedding planners, the only jobs I could take were the destination jobs. So I took destination weddings, and they were really magnificent and amazing. And when I got to Europe and started doing destination weddings, I realized it would be a great idea to actually import wedding gowns into the U.S.
Yep.
So I did. I started to import wedding gowns, and I worked with trade commissions from Spain, France, and Italy as a guest to all the European wedding markets. Through those contacts, I was able to get a great sense of the European landscape in terms of the wholesale market and also all of the wedding industry vendors as well.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody during a certain point of time got a reality show, and I got one too on TLC, Brides of Beverly Hills, and it became pretty quickly an international success.
Yes.
And I was a huge show in Canada and probably the #1 cable show in Italy for several years. And through that opportunity and all the visibility that I garnered there, the Trade Commission, who had been bringing me to Europe for all of the wedding gown events where I was importing wedding gowns, gave my credentials to the Italian Tourism Board, who contacted me to bring more awareness to their wedding market overall.
There we go.
And when I started going to Italy for that purpose, I had the inspiration to start another wedding industry umbrella spin-off of Wetaways, and my daughter came in on the development of that company, and 3 years later, we're rocking and rolling around the world.
Well, so destination weddings are definitely sort of a snowballing trend, I would say, especially with millennials. Things are getting a little less traditional. The church and all that stuff's kind of going out the door, and people are willing to travel to amazing destinations, have smaller, more intimate wedding engagements. So let's talk about those trends. I mean, what have you outlined as popular destinations that you're seeing for the actual weddings, popular destinations we're seeing for honeymoons? You know, let's talk me through kind of what you're seeing for next year as being the big top trends.
Well, you know, with the big success of Ancestry.com and 123 and Me, or I'm not sure what that company
all those
is called.
DNA tests,
Yeah, people are starting to really want to return to their roots. So we are doing a lot of business for what we call heritage return. Therefore, Ireland is a huge destination for us because there are tons of Irish immigrants into the U.S., especially from the 1800s and the famines that they had. Millions of people came. And Italy has always been not only a heritage destination, but the land of love overall. So those two countries are always in high demand. And because millennials are so curious in what's new and best and fastest, we are sending a lot of couples to Japan. So that's a very strong trend as well. Of course, we also do a lot of weddings in Marrakesh, Morocco, and honeymoons as well. And we're seeing the honeymoon trips extend from maybe 7 to 8 days to up to 3 weeks. So those are the big trends that we're seeing going forward.
Okay. And talk to me about, personalized and more intimate wedding gifts that you're seeing. Are you seeing couples, get a little bit more creative with that? What are you noticing in that area? And, elaborate a little on that for me.
On a destination wedding, they're usually over a 2 to 3 day period because the guests have to actually arrive in the destination. Then the hosting couple wants to make sure that they're taken care of when they land in terms of a welcome or rehearsal dinner. Then, of course, the wedding day and then the farewell brunch or lunch. Yep. Well, during that time period, guests are usually gifted either a bag or a welcome basket of things that are really indigenous to the area. So when we do business in Japan, for example, our people on the ground go shopping for beautiful silk fans, or something like that of that nature, or beautiful little bento boxes of gifts and goodies for the couples. And wherever clients are going, we really, with our teams on the ground, we work as a destination wedding management company as well. So we work with regional planners in every area, as well as we have our own network of planners. We very often buy gifts that, again, are very indicative of the region. In Ireland, for example, craft beers are really popular. So depending on the county where the wedding is taking place, we'll give all the guests bottles of craft beer that they can enjoy. And it's very, very couples to be able to do that, which makes it a very interpersonal relationship and experience.
And you mentioned planning. I mean, when you originally think destination wedding, you think, you're going to Mexico and they're just they have a package and you're purchasing the package. Are you seeing couples get a little more brave and thinking outside the box and sort of coming up with their own piecemeal wedding based on different, local things that happen in the area? Or are we still seeing these kind of canned packages?
It's such a great question, Chelsea, because there are, of course, many people that will buy a package and it will be relatively inexpensive and they will get a cookie cutter experience. But Wetaways really specializes in what we call bespoke or unique experiences that are really made to order for the couples themselves. So therefore, we have our destination wedding planners in all of the regions. Mexico in particular is easy to get to for East Coast couples as well as West Coast couples. And we're able to really personalize experiences, even in all-inclusive resorts that are adults only, that can do magnificent bespoke packages. And it's something, like I said, that we specialize in. What we try to do for our couples is to create what we call fam trips. That's spelled F like familiarize AM. And a fam trip is when we gather up to 10 wedding couples and we will bring them to a destination. They can visit up to 5 or 8 sites in a 3-day period. And we have our wedding planners that accompany them and our virtuoso Wetaways travel planners that are there on site as well. And they can actually book their weddings right then and there with our professionals, get the lay of the land, see what the region offers, see what the individual sites and properties offer. And it's really a very specialized, catered experience for the couples.
And another trend that you mentioned was people that are waiting for their honeymoon for better times, whether it's cherry blossom season or waiting 6 months to get better weather, which is something that breaks the tradition a little with normal wedding etiquette would be to go directly after the wedding. Are you seeing a lot of couples that are willing to wait for a better or a more price-effective experience?
Yes, there are, as you said, people that embark on their honeymoon like you saw in the movie Father of the Bride, toss the bouquet and leave the house and go right. By the way, I did the wardrobe for that movie, and I'm in that movie.
Of course you did.
but then there are the people that they will wait and go on an extended honeymoon when either they've got their paid time off from work, or if let's say they get married in the winter, but they really want to enjoy a summer experience, they'll wait a few months and then go on this during the summer, or vice versa. People who love winter sports will go heli skiing in Canada, or even to Gstaad, Switzerland, to the Alps and swim, or they'll just and ski, or, depending on what their lifestyle and their love of adventure is, many people wait. And also, people are very busy these days. There are a group of couples that we call the Henrys. Henry stands for high earners, not rich yet. And they will go either in between projects because they are, for example, working project to project, or they're working contractually, and when a contract ends, they'll grab that time and then they'll go. So we are very flexible, and we actually love that creative aspect where we can work with a client on their wedding during one season and then plan this amazing honeymoon for them during another season completely, and they get the most incredible experiences that way.
And I would be remiss if I didn't ask for the ladies out there, bachelorette party trends. I know people are traveling. I just traveled for mine to New Orleans, so we whooped it up in New Orleans. So what are you seeing as bachelorette party trends for 2019? You're seeing them travel. You're seeing more local parties. What are you seeing?
Well, I don't want to leave out the bachelors either.
Okay, we won't leave them out.
Bachelor getaways. The answer is that depending upon the lifestyle of the bride or the groom, they gather up their friends. They can go from, let's say, the East Coast. We've sent brides and their homies or grooms and their homies to Ireland or Scotland to do whiskey or scotch tasting. We've sent them to the French wine country for champagne tasting. They've gone to Croatia because Dubrovnik, for example, it's not expensive. It's relatively easy to get there. It's an adventure, but it's so gorgeous and it's so full of young people. Or they'll go to Marrakesh for a shopping experience. Or they'll go, like you said, down to New Orleans, which I love. It's a fabulous place. Or even from the East Coast up to Nova Scotia in Canada for a great weekend of golf. So people are grabbing that time. They're sharing it with their friends. And it's all about the experience and the love and it's a short life, unfortunately. You got to grab it while you can get it. And people are taking maximum advantage of that.
Great. And so I have a couple more questions I want to ask you before we sign off. First off, can you just walk our viewers through the Wetaways process? It's not a paid service, if I'm not mistaken. It's something that you consult with couples and provide them with experiences. And so, what is this process from start to finish when you work with Wetaways.com?
When you come to Wetaways, you can first look at our portfolio of international destinations and properties. We will help you find the perfect destination and perfect venue for all of your celebrations. We will then help you choose from the best wedding planners that we have in the region that will make your dreams come true. And we won't let go. We'll hang on and help you plan the most amazing honeymoon, and we'll take you through the entire process with all the itineraries, and we'll get you there and get you home, and you will have a soup to nuts, A through Z experience. And we won't forget your guests either. We'll take care of all the room blocks, no matter where they're going or you're going in the world, as well as take care of all of your guest travel and pre and post travel of your guests if you so desire.
Excellent.
So we are a full service company.
Beautiful. And I also have to ask, I was on your Instagram, I saw you've been doing a lot of traveling. Where is your favorite place you've been in the past 6 months?
Well, I have been many places in the last 6 months.
Got to pick a favorite.
I got to pick a place. I would say probably somewhere in Italy because I go to Italy about 8 times a year and I
Okay.
really love it. And Pamela, my daughter and business partner, is on a 23-day honeymoon right now. She went to Abu Dhabi,
23 days, wow.
Dubai, India, and Sri Lanka, and she's loving it all.
Wow. All right, second question. Who was the most memorable bride on Brides of Beverly Hills?
On Brides of Beverly Hills, probably Diana DeGarmo and Ace Young. They are Broadway stars, and I not only had them on the show as my guests, but I actually planned and produced their wedding. And Ace Young was the only groom that, when he walked up the aisle, bent over and gave me a kiss before he got to the top.
Okay, and most memorable production that one of your dresses is featured in?
Father of the Bride.
Father of the Bride. Awesome. Well, Renee, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're on West Coast time, so you still got a good chunk of the day ahead of you at this point. You guys have an office in Bristol, Rhode Island, which is great to know for anybody that's interested in checking you out locally, and also in Cork, Ireland. If any of our guests are in Cork, Ireland at the moment, they can check you out there. But based in Beverly Hills for most of the time, which is a great idea. It's 20 degrees here.
We love it.
It's 20 degrees here right now, so I am very jealous. So hopefully I'll get out that way. I'll come out that way to interview you next time. I'll come to Beverly Hills. So we hope our guests check out wetaways.com. Again, all of the destinations are verified by Renee and her team, and you can set up a consultation to find out awesome places to travel for you and your spouse, or if you're already married, maybe somewhere just to go on your second honeymoon. Who knows? So, Renee, thank you so much for taking the time with Go Local Live today. We'll be back with our next guest in just a couple minutes.